guys, so here we are, second video of the night. I said I was making another one. I know it's a little late, takes a minute to upload these things. What can I say? But let's talk about the Xbox One X, because why not? I do tend to talk good and bad about the Xbox One X. More bad than good, but let's talk good about it just for a little bit, because I made that video talking earlier on the Sony PlayStation and how Sony overall is hurting themselves by not supporting their own fucking product. And I don't mean just PlayStation, I mean other products by not including other products in their own product that sells. So why is it that I'm going to say some good shit on Xbox? Because I feel that Xbox has a advantage, a small advantage, but an advantage nonetheless. Now, what advantage am I talking about? I do feel that the Xbox One X is more 4K ready than the PlayStation 4. I believe Xbox One is more 4K capable than PlayStation 4 will ever be. Let me run that by you again. Xbox, the comeback kid, if you will, the one that people love to hate this generation outside of Nintendo, is more 4K ready than PlayStation. How is that possible? PlayStation is owned by Sony. Sony owns 4K. They have the patent on it and everything. How is this fucking possible? How did we get to this point? Well, we got here through Sony having their head up their ass. Through Sony not understanding the importance of actually supporting your own fucking products. And not understanding, basics. That's how we got here. I know that seems like a hard pill to swallow, but when you follow the rabbit down the hole, it makes sense. I mean, look at what the Xbox One has done. And I do mean within the system. I don't mean just teraflop titties and RAMs of, who gives a fuck and all that nonsense that nobody who is a core gamer honestly cares about. I'm talking about, look what they've done. We have Sony, who has been preaching, please go buy a 4K television, with no real reason. HDR, no real reason, okay? Then you have Xbox. They actually have reason. They actually show reason. They actually come out on stage and they say, hey, you want streaming Netflix in 4K? We can do that. You want Hulu in 4K? We can do that. You want your Blu-ray collection in 4K? We put a Blu-ray player in that bitch that's 4K. We did that. You want your gaming in 4K? Granted, it's upscaled, but we did that. Xbox seems to be on top of this 4K shit, whereas PlayStation just doesn't seem to understand it. They invented it, but they don't understand what it truly is, which is kind of weird. I mean, you have a company who owns the patent to something, who owns the product, who is in the lead by millions of units, but then when it's time for them to step up to the fucking plate and they're seeing the shift in the market, they don't support it. 4K Blu-rays are not going to take off because of you, Sony. The PS4 Pro is not catching on because of you, Sony. This is not because of the fans. This is because of you, Sony. This is because of your poor marketing, Sony. This is like the Wii U and Nintendo's poor marketing for that. This has to do with you. Very little of the PS4 Pro not catching on has to do with the customer base. I know a lot of people will argue, no, it's got a lot to do with it. No, it doesn't. It's marketed horribly. The fact that they did not put in a 4K Blu-ray player into the PS Pro shows how little they honestly want to back 4K right now. All they gotta do is say, hey, it's not ready, it's not there. And it will be fine if they can admit that. But then again, they will actually be losing a lot of respect through a lot of shit they've said beforehand. Because again, you have Xbox, who is like, you know what? 4K's here, 4K's a thing, 4K this, 4K that, and they're showing it. See where I'm going here? And that, of all things, creates a problem. Again, this is Xbox. They're in second place. And due to the Xbox One X having a high price, that might be something that people don't want to do right away. It might start selling really good in 2018. Might not be out the gate, but it is going to be a problem. And that 4K Blu-ray, I know people are like, oh, it's not that big of a thing. But again, we're looking at the system as a whole here. It's streaming in 4K, putting video out in 4K. It's a 4K upscale system. This thing is more packaged 4K ready than the PS4 Pro could ever be. If a game developer decides tomorrow that they're going to write their fucking games on those 4K Blu-ray discs on the Xbox One or the PlayStation, because they use 4K, you know, they use the Blu-ray discs, and they want to use the 4K Blu-ray discs, who do you think they're going to go to with their game? They're going to go to Xbox, because Xbox can use them. PlayStation can't. The field is I know this is a Nintendo game, just it's right here. The fucking Xbox is more future-proof in that aspect, because again, they're seeing that the market is shifting with Blu-rays going out. Even DVDs, pardon me, have been leaving the market steadily. And Blu-rays are taking over, and now 4K's coming in, and they want 4Ks to catch on. They want 4K to become a thing. Xbox is more prepared for 4K to happen. Sony owns the patent, but Sony doesn't push it the right way. Sony is not prepared to make money from this. I've argued the fact to death that Sony is probably going to go out of business, not due to the fucking PlayStation, but due to their own fucking bullshit, due to their own fucking ignorance in the market and how to make money now. It's like as soon as it went from 1999 to 2000, something happened. And it wasn't that Sony got smarter, it was that Sony got fucking dumber. Okay, because before the 90s were done, Sony was running things. I mean, they were selling PlayStations, they were selling televisions, they were selling cell phones, they were selling DVD players, VCRs, combination DVD VCRs, fucking televisions with DVD players in them, televisions, cell phones. They were selling everything. But now they can't get it together. They're losing more money than PlayStation can make. And it's just dropping horribly. Regardless of how you may feel about that, PlayStation cannot float a dying company. They just can't. And because of Sony's lackluster support for their own fucking patents, they might not be around to see the next fucking generation. Okay? Xbox, unfortunately, is the one who is ready, regardless of, well, it's not native 4K. That, unfortunately, doesn't matter, because neither is the Pro. But they are more 4K capable than the Pro is. It's an all-around 4K. Yes, it's upscale, but it's all-around upscale 4K. 4K streaming, 4K actual Blu-rays can be played. 4K gaming, even though it's upscaled. So if a developer says, hey, we want to use those 4K Blu-rays to put our games on, that way the games can actually be played in 4K and we don't have to worry about anything, Sony is shit out of luck. Because again, the Xbox is going to be playing these games on a 4K Blu-ray player, and they're going to start really showing the difference between the 4K DVD Blu-rays and the regular basic Blu-rays. And yes, there is a difference. I own a 4K Blu-ray and a regular Blu-ray in the same title. There's a big difference when you hook up a 4K Blu-ray player to a 4K television and watch that movie on that type of screen. Trust me, this type of thing is going to happen before the market just automatically switches to all digital. It's going to happen. Unfortunately, Sony is just not at that point of understanding their fucking shit. They're at the point of, well, we're just not gonna do it. We're just, And I don't understand why. Why? Other than they've made mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake this generation. And I know people are like, that's not true. It is. PSVR, mistake. They should have never got into that. It's still in less than 2% of PlayStation 4 owners' homes. They did not meet the 80 plus games in the first physical year. Never happened. And it will not actually happen when it reaches October. Quit dreaming. Okay, they bit off more than they could chew with that damn thing. The PlayStation Vita, look, I went out, this is my third Vita. I just bought this fucking thing. Okay? There's a couple of games I want to play, yes, that's why I bought it. There are a couple of games I want to play. My PS4 is still at my girlfriend's house. And before you say no, you're just saying that because you got rid of it. I'm not getting rid of my PS4. I bought the limited edition one with the Batman on it. I am a huge Batman fanatic. If you can't tell, Batman Arkham City t-shirt. I'm not getting rid of it. But I bought this because I can play, what is that game? God Wars, Future Past or some shit like that. So I could play Malice Cross something or another. There's a bunch of games on the PS Vita that I do want to play. Some of them are cross-play, like Todoken and Todoken 2. Those are available on the PS4. But there are games that are, on this thing that I do want to play. God War Future Past is another game that's a cross-play game, but it's available on the PS Vita, so I want to get that on there. Tales of Heart R. I want to get that so I can play it on here. I know it's on the DS, chill. But my point is, Sony is not supporting their own patents. And if you're a 4K type of person and you want the best of the best and you're, looking at it as, well, right now Sony has all the games, you have to cut the bullshit out. You have to cut it. You have to realize, okay, Sony is a major porting system this generation. They didn't have backwards compatibility, so a lot of those games are ports. A lot of their actual, PS4 games are ports and definitive editions. So once you cut that out, the actual PS4 games that are new this generation are not as much. They're about the same as the Xbox One. Because the Xbox One did it a little different. They made games specifically for Xbox One, then they put them on the 360. Forza Horizon 2, there's a dummy version of that game on the Xbox 360. Rise of the Tomb Raider, the dummy version, is on the 360. And there's a few other ones that I can't think of off the top of my head. But the Xbox One is becoming the actual all-in-one system. It's starting to look like it should have back in the day, and it's starting to entice people. It's starting to be like, holy crap, this is something I need to pay attention to. But even the Slim has the 4K Blu-ray player in there. So you really can buy a Slim right now, and if developers, like I say, decide they want to print those games on 4K Blu-rays, the Slim will be able to read it. But PlayStation won't. You get what I'm saying? And that's something that I think a lot of people need to actually sit down and think about. Maybe go and talk to Sony about, like, hey man, you have a refresh. Maybe your refresh should be scrapped, and apologize for that refresh and make an actual refresh that actually matters, because your competition is supporting 4K and you're not. I'm sorry, Sony, you're not. I don't care if you're the most devoted Sony fan. They're just not. Say this is the circle for 4K. Like, this is the whole circle for 4K. You got bam, bam, TV, gaming, movies. Okay, you fucking have to cut it, whatever. I don't know the other thing. But they're missing the ability to play your movies. You can stream, but you can't play your movies. And right now you're upscaling your games. They have 2 of the 3 that Xbox is offering. 2 of the 3. That's not good. They have to be on level to maintain, which is why they're scared. See what I'm saying? That's why they keep coming out with these things. And they came out with that, well, if we trick the PS4 and we cut it from what it's doing now, it will go up to 8 and be outperforming the Xbox One. So you mean I have to cut it again in order to match with the Xbox One? Nobody wants to cut again because it's already upscaling. You don't want to do that. You don't want to be more into more. That's not something people who are on consoles want to do. Get what I'm saying to you? Anyway, I gotta go. I'm in the middle of playing on my 360. I was playing Kingdom Under Fire. What the fuck? Circle of Doom. I was playing this right here. So, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna keep playing my game. I just want to make this video. By the time it uploads, it'll be late as fuck. I'll be going to bed. And I will see you guys next time. Deuces.